Matthew, big Chelsea fan, good morning. What do you want to say? Are you behind Potter, or what do you think?
Controversially, I actually am. I know he's not doing great at the moment, but if you look at Chelsea over the last few seasons, even under Tuchel, the form, we were playing a lot of backwards and sideways football.
Yeah.
So the players that we've got, I don't think they fit the system. We've got nobody there that's got any grit. We've got massive amounts of players out on injury. Kante coming back will be great because obviously we need that defensive midfielder. As you pointed out already, our wing backs are injured. We've got no striker. The one that we bought in the summer, well, that wasn't Potter's signing anyway, in the form of Aubameyang, and definitely wasn't someone that we should have bought. If you look over the previous years, when we've been successful and we've had the likes of Rob up front, who's obviously a big guy, we've had Terry at the back. We don't have that anymore. Koulibaly's off the pace. And
you say it lies with the players more than anything else, Matthew. I mean, I'm looking at the messages that are coming on while you're speaking. There's one, no name in it. Potter's a mid-table manager. End of. What do you think?
I do think it's probably been too early for him to come in, having been off the bounce of what's at Brighton. But maybe he would have been better off going up to like a top 10 team to begin with. But that doesn't come away from the fact that obviously everybody's backing him. All the managers are backing him, saying what a great guy he is and how good a manager he can be, and that he's been tipped for England manager in the future. I think he should come good. But if you look at the appointments that we've had, Todd Bowley's come in. We've had bad management under Abramovich as well at the end, where contracts weren't extended and then they waited until the last minute, and then he was obviously sanctioned, which I know is not something that they're therefore in control of. But if they had acted earlier, we would have had those contract extensions. I mean, they've lost half a team in terms of players that have gone out.
Okay.
And then...
Okay. All right. Matthew, many points. Listen, we digest them. Thank you for that. Jason, Chelsea fan, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I agree with what Dean was saying and also with what Simon was saying, where Dean was referring to Chilwell being missed, James being missed, Kante. I'm not blaming it all on injuries because all teams do go through it. But if you look at the amount of injuries that they've got, and don't get me wrong, Liverpool have got good squads, so have Man City. But if you was to take away half of their team, would they be second in the league? I don't think they would be second. I think Potter will come good, and at the end of the day, you've just got to back him because when he was at Brighton, he didn't chop and change his formation as much as what he has done, and I doubt whether or not he will do when he gets those players back and fit.
So you're not with the certainly a section of Chelsea fans yesterday, Jason, who were calling for Tuchel to get back.
Well, to be honest with you, like your colleague who I spoke to, I was a big Tuchel fan, still am. However, as I think Simon alluded to, like a lot of us, we go on what we see on a Saturday and a Wednesday. So I don't know what problems he was causing behind the scenes at the club. And, if you have a problem, you try and get rid of it. So if it was purely on a football thing, I would have Tuchel back. That's nothing against Potter. That's just for the fact that I am a Tuchel fan with his managerial style. However, we weren't exactly playing great before he went anyway. So I think they just need to realise that we support the club. We don't support just the manager.
Okay, Jason, thank you for that. All very measured. Tom, are you measured in your approach to this? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get that yesterday. I do get it because we're getting spanked 4-0 at Man City. I get it. The fans have paid their money. They're frustrated. I understand that. I'm not enjoying what I'm watching at the moment. That's pretty obvious. I think I speak for probably every Chelsea fan when I say that at the moment. Kante, Chilwell, James, replacing Rudiger. For me, after Virgil's injury, he's been the best centre-half in the league last. We've replaced him with Koulibaly. He looks like he's running in quicksand half the time. The player's not good enough. I don't see how Potter can be judged so harshly after 15 games. Do the fans not remember getting spanked 3-0 at Leeds, losing 2-1 at Southampton, who are now, I think, bottom of the league? I mean, he needs time. He needs time. He needs time. Players.
It's coming over. Tom, thank you for that. It's coming over that there is a measured approach from the Chelsea fans phoning us, Dean, Give the guy time.
I mean, it must be. It's not nice to watch if you're a supporter. You know, the way that they got beat yesterday, especially. It's not nice. But I'd like to think that there's got to be some perspective in terms of the injuries, in terms of him just coming into the job, in terms of those fixtures that they've played, and hoping that they get some of those injuries back in the next couple of weeks, albeit Fulham away, who are ahead of them in the league at the moment. It's a pretty big game for Graham Potter. But I wonder as well whether, you know, the owners would look at, say, an Arteta, where at one point he was Arteta out. You know, a lot of the Arsenal fans were not having him, wanted him out, and they stuck with him, and they saw enough, like Simon said, on a Saturday. If you saw 20, 30-minute periods or certain games under Arteta, you could definitely see that it was possible what's happening now.
Context is everything. You know, 7-8 months ago, Chelsea fans would be sitting there going, what's going to happen to our football club? Is it going to be folded down? Is anyone going to buy it? And, you know, and now we're talking about a manager being brought in. I do think Potter was brought in too early. I do think it was a strange appointment. But they've made that appointment. They've made that change. The reasons why they took Tuchel out was a lot of things behind the scenes that fans haven't seen, as one of the callers alluded to. But Potter was a strange decision. But you've made it now. And you must have made it for very good reasons. And you must see something in it that was a longer-term picture. They said that from the outset. They said that this is not something that we... Now, the underlying narrative, which is being fueled to some extent by segments of the media, is Chelsea, the expectation of Chelsea, the new ownership model, and the fact that Potter hasn't got the credentials. And all of those play into a sort of unsavoury mix of saying this guy should be out. Well, he's 15 games into a job. I'm all for people being in highly paid positions doing their job very quickly, but I'm also into the context of it and say, OK, there's a lot of things that are not happening at Chelsea right now, and one of them is the manager hasn't got a grip of the style of play that he wants. Some of that might be the availability of personnel. Some of it might be the personnel that is being foisted upon him that he didn't choose himself. But, you know, Aubameyang, despite the fact I think he's a bit of a slob at times and doesn't bring you the best discipline inside the club, is a player that can play. Yeah. He'll get you goals. Yeah. So with all that in mind, I think Potter... Now, if Potter finds himself dumped out of the Champions League by Dortmund, then the narrative will get even louder. I know I've said narrative about 20 times this morning, but the thinking behind what people are saying about Potter will get even louder. But I think Bowley, unless there's an absolute car crash and they're dropping down to 14th in the league, will stay with Potter for this season and then have a bigger picture assessment at the end of it.
Well, another test for them, and it comes very quickly. This Thursday, to be precise, it's at Fulham Chelsea. It's live in talkSPORT in the Premier League. 8 o'clock kickoff for that. Then we'll see what Potter's Chelsea may or may not do. Christian in Hull, quite simple. Did he not take his time to settle in at Brighton? It takes time. He's got to make his team his own. So he's cutting Graham Potter a bit of slack as well. 10:30.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.